You know the song? You're thinking the classics? We all have that one friend who's always singing it. Long live the walls we crashed through. I had the time of my life with you. Ah, the memories. And speaking of memories, do you remember when pop princesses were ruling the charts? Britney, Christina, Mandy, Jessica, all of them divas in their own right. But then there was this one artist who came along and did something no one thought possible. She took the crown and made it her own. And her name is Taylor Swift. It all started innocently enough. A girl with sparkling guitar strings strumming in her bedroom, singing about shy school crushes and secret hopes. At 14, she was already a natural-born songwriter, penning songs about heartbreak and first love with the kind of rawness and honesty that only someone her age could muster. Tiny, tender confessions scribbled in a diary that became songs that would one day fill entire stadiums. That's the magic of Taylor Swift, the girl who turned heartbreak into worldwide anthems. And when she sang those lyrics, "I'm only up when you're not down," every single person in the audience felt like she was singing directly to them. But she wasn't content with just singing other people's songs. She wanted to write her own story. It was her raw, her life lyrics that resonated with millions of young girls who saw their own experiences reflected in her music. But it wasn't just the music that made headlines. As the years went by, Taylor continued to evolve, experimenting with new sounds and styles while staying true to herself. In a world where everyone is perfect, she's honest. She became a global superstar, selling out stadiums and breaking records. But through it all, she never forgot her roots. The small-town girl with a big dream who scribbled her thoughts in a diary and turned them into songs that changed the world. In a world where no one cares, she listens. She takes our shattered pieces and makes us feel whole. Oh, that's the gift of Taylor Swift. Before we get into the secrets behind her massive success, let's take a trip back to where it all began. On December 13th, 1989, in Reading, Pennsylvania, Taylor Swift was born. She grew up on a Christmas tree farm surrounded by snow-dusted pines and wide fields that felt endless. Her childhood was full of horses, chasing barn cats and days that smelled like fresh pine. But even back then, her heart was somewhere else, dreaming of bright lights and crowds singing along. Her parents, Scott and Andrea, were the kind of people who planned their vacations around music festivals. So when Taylor said she wanted to be a performer, they didn't laugh. They just nodded because they knew that look in her eyes. As Taylor grew older, that look only got stronger. When she was 9 years old, Taylor would perform country songs at local fairs and karaoke contests. She wore cowboy boots that were a little too big, sang with a microphone that was too tall, but nobody cared. Not because Taylor Swift was destined for greatness, no, because she loved every minute of it. One day, her mom found Taylor singing along to one of her favorite CDs, belting out the high notes as if she owned them. And Andrea knew that this wasn't just another phase. This was something more. When Taylor turned 11, she believed with her whole heart that Nashville was where dreams came true. So she burned demo CDs, scribbled her name in bright Sharpie, and convinced her mom to drive her all the way there. That trip changed everything. They knocked on doors up and down Music Row, hoping someone would give her a chance. But instead, she mostly heard polite smiles and gentle no's. A part of her wanted to quit, to pretend that she didn't care. But something inside her wouldn't let her. So when they got back home, Taylor picked up a 12-string guitar, sat down in her room, and started writing songs about little heartbreaks and hopes that felt enormous when you were 13. As the years passed, those songs got better, her voice got stronger. She performed everywhere from coffee shops to school talent shows, and with each show, her confidence grew. But it wasn't just about the music. It was about proving everyone wrong, showing them that this small-town girl with big dreams could do it. In 2004, when Taylor was 15, her family made a huge decision. Her dad quit his job, sold their house, and moved the family to Nashville. Taylor was determined to make them all proud. She played every open mic she could find, even though most nights she was the only one listening. She performed in coffee shops, where the music was drowned out by chatter, and hotel lobbies, where the carpet was more interesting than her songs. But she kept going. She was willing to sleep in tiny rooms, play for no money, just to have another shot at making it. Then in 2006, everything changed. Taylor was 17 and had saved enough money to record a demo CD. She sent copies to anyone she thought could help, but most of them didn't even reply. Then one day, a guy named Scott Borchetta contacted her. He was starting a new label called Big Machine Records, and he wanted Taylor to be his first artist. She signed with him immediately. Her first single, Tim McGraw, was released in June 2006. It was a risky move. It wasn't like anything else on the radio, but fans fell in love with it. And when her first album came out in October, it went multi-platinum. The same girl who couldn't get anyone to listen to her demos was suddenly seeing thousands of fans scream her words back to her. But behind the flashing lights and screaming crowds, Taylor still felt the same way she did when she was 13. She was a small-town girl with a big dream who worked harder than anyone else to make it come true. After her debut album was a huge success, Taylor knew she was on the cusp of something big. But she also knew that she needed to keep pushing, so she poured everything into her second album, Fearless. It was a critical and commercial success. The album sold over 1 million copies in its first week and gave her complete control over her music. It won Album of the Year at the Grammys and cemented her status as a country music superstar. But Taylor wasn't content with just being a country singer. She wanted more. She co-wrote every song on the album and produced it herself. The result was a critical and commercial success. But Taylor didn't care. She was following her heart and making the music she wanted to make. And then something amazing happened. Her Red era began with the release of her fourth album, Red. It was a critical and commercial triumph, selling over 1 million copies in its first week. But it was also a deeply personal album for Taylor. It was the first album where she fully embraced her feelings and wrote about love, loss, and everything in between. Red era saw Taylor experiment with different sounds, from the pop of We Are Never Ever Getting Back, together to the country of State of Grace. She also began to incorporate more of her songwriting into her live shows, giving fans a more intimate look at her creative process. During this time, Taylor's personal life was also in flux. She began dating actor Jake Gyllenhaal, but the relationship ended after a few months. The heartbreak inspired some of the most powerful songs of her career, including All Too Well. After Red era, Taylor took a step back from the spotlight to focus on her personal life, but she couldn't stay away from music for long. In 2014, she released 1989, which was a huge departure from her previous work. It was a pop album through and through, with influences from synth pop and new wave. 1989 was a critical and commercial triumph. It won Album of the Year at the Grammys and spawned several hit singles, including Shake It Off, Blank Space, and Wildest Dreams. The era saw Taylor embrace her femininity and experiment with different fashion styles. After 1989, Taylor took a break from touring to focus on her personal life. Her songs are often inspired by her personal experiences, which allows fans to connect with her on a deeper level. And 1989 was her pop rebirth. Swapping country guitars for neon beats, dancing through heartbreak with Shake It Off, Blank Space, and Style. This was the era of squad goals and fierce female anthems. Taylor's albums mirrored her growing up, as did her music. Winning her first Grammy and then losing the moment. At just 19, she became the youngest artist ever to win Album of the Year at the Grammys for Fearless. As Taylor started her acceptance speech for Best Female Video, Kanye West jumped on stage, took the mic, and told the world Beyoncé deserved it more. It was supposed to be her pure Cinderella moment. But months later at the MTV VMAs, that fairy tale cracked. Millions watched Taylor stand there stunned, her first huge moment ripped away on live TV. But that's always been Taylor's secret. She never let heartbreak, public humiliation, silence her. It's fighting back against the media, the leaks, the drama, the constant scrutiny. Taylor found her voice, and it was fierce. This next era was different, though. Taylor had a new sound, a darker edge. She was done being the girl next door. This was a new chapter, and she was done holding back. In 2014, Red era Taylor would have worn a dress, maybe even a cute graphic tee. But this Taylor was all leather, all lace-up boots and powerful poses. There was no more fearless Taylor, no more Red era Taylor. It was a bold move, a risk, a chance to start fresh. The Reputation era was born. She was making bops, owning her sexuality and reclaiming her narrative. No more good girl Taylor. This Taylor was dangerous. She wasn't just writing about heartbreak anymore. She was addressing her critics, the media, the haters, These weren't just albums, they were a statement. A statement that Taylor was here to stay, to evolve, and to inspire. She fought back against the media's portrayal of her, their attempts to silence her, their obsession with her love life. It wasn't just a musical triumph, it was a statement. Taylor was taking back control, rewriting her narrative. Songs like "Look What You Made Me Do" and "I Did Something Bad" were her middle fingers raised high. This was the era of empowered anthems, of owning her narrative, of turning pain into power. Messy, passionate, all-consuming. "I Knew You Were Trouble" and "All Too Well" didn't just hit the charts, they hit people right in the chest. The response was overwhelming. Fans flocked to stream her new versions, helping them debut at No One and No, one on the Billboard 200 chart. In 2018, her two-night stand in Tampa Bay brought in an estimated $262 million. Taylor's concerts are more than just shows, they're economic engines. It's not just about ticket sales, it's about the ripple effect. Hotels, restaurants, shops, all benefit when Taylor comes to town. Her Red Era tours in 2018 injected over $1 billion into local economies. That's the equivalent of the GDP of 225 small businesses combined. Her impact is so huge, she's been dubbed the Midas of pop. Touchdown, Taylor Swift in gold. And then came the best revenge, her music. After signing with Republic Records, she began work on her 7th studio album, Lover. In 2019, she told the world she was done being a pawn in their game. When Scooter Braun bought her old record label, and with it, the rights to her first 6 albums, Taylor knew she had to fight. So Taylor decided to take matters into her own hands. Taylor's cooking up something super exciting. Remember back in 2020 when she shocked us all by saying she's re-recording her first 6 albums? How awesome is that? Why? Because she wanted to own her music. Big Machine label group, owned by Scooter Braun, controlled the masters, the original recordings. Free from the constraints of her old label, free from the expectations of the world, free to be herself. This isn't just about music, it's about empowerment, about owning her art, her story, her legacy. Music fans rallied behind her, launching a massive campaign. #Taylor's version, #. She refused to release her latest album, 1989, on the platform. Her message was clear. She wanted better royalty rates for artists, and she wasn't backing down. She went public, calling out shady business practices in the music industry. This wasn't just about her. It was about standing up for musicians everywhere. It sent shockwaves through the industry. Her stand against Apple. In 2015, when Apple announced they were launching a new music streaming service, Taylor made a stand. She stood up for artists, especially women, who were in the same position she was in. Within days, Apple caved, agreeing to pay artists higher royalties. Taylor didn't just fight for herself. She fought for every musician who had a song in their heart, but didn't have a seat at the table. This was a whole new side of Taylor, a fighter, a warrior, a role model. She released 2 re-recordings, Fearless and Red. Fearless was all about first love and fairy tales, with songs like Love Story and You Belong With Me that had teenagers scribbling lyrics on notebooks everywhere. The album was a beautiful mess of emotions, from the butterflies of new love to the heartbreak of lost dreams. It was personal, honest, and most importantly, free. And in 2020, she dropped Folklore and Evermore, 2 albums that felt like a breath of fresh air. They were introspective, nostalgic, and above all, authentic. Back to December Dear John style, All Too Well. They weren't just her stories. Instead, she turned those moments into songs that felt like they belonged to all of us. Her heartbreak didn't destroy her, made her songs real, and that's what fans clung to. Each album felt like another chapter, not just in her life, but in ours too. Then came Speak Now, where she wrote every song by herself, confessing crushes and old regrets. Red was heartbreak on fire, or the soundtrack to first crushes, messy breakups, and every text that never came back. Taylor's albums weren't just records. They were growing pains turned into anthems that every fan lived through with her. The secret to Taylor Swift's success is how she captures the everyday moments, feelings and thoughts that many of us have felt but couldn't put into words ourselves. The Album of the Year wins for Fearless, 1989, and Folklore. But at that moment, she became the female artist with the most Grammy wins in history, overtaking the legendary Beyoncé. That's something only a tiny handful of artists in history have ever done. Through it all, she remained authentic and real, and somehow managed to grow her empire from being a teen princess to a modern-day rock legend. Whether you're a diehard Swiftie or just curious about her mega success, get ready for an inside look at the genius strategies behind Taylor Swift's empire. We'll explore her rise to fame, her business moves, and most importantly, what we really learned from her story. Aside from touring, Taylor's songwriting prowess has also played a significant role in her financial success. From country to pop and beyond, her music resonated with audiences worldwide, selling over 200 million albums and 500 million digital songs. One of the key factors contributing to Taylor's immense wealth is her highly successful tour. Moreover, Taylor has diversified her income streams by venturing into other business opportunities. She owns a wine company called 1989 Wines, which produces high-quality wines that are enjoyed by both casual drinkers and wine enthusiasts. Additionally, Taylor has dabbled in real estate, acquiring properties in various locations, including Rhode Island, Nashville, and California. Her real estate portfolio is not only a savvy investment, but also provides her with luxurious residences. She has secured lucrative endorsement deals with major brands, including Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Apple, and more. While Taylor achieved massive success in the music industry, she has also ventured into other business opportunities. In addition to her music career, Taylor has strategically built a brand that extends beyond the entertainment industry. Taylor's endorsement choices are carefully curated and often align with her personal values, ensuring that her partnerships resonate with her fan base. According to Celebrity Net Worth, as of 2023, her net worth is estimated to be a staggering $570 million. Over the years, Taylor Swift's net worth has skyrocketed, solidifying her status as one of the wealthiest entertainers in the world. Throughout her career, she has used her platform to advocate for various social causes, including LGBTQ rights, racial equality, and women's rights. She has been vocal about her support for LGBTQ rights, racial equality, and women's rights. Taylor's activism has inspired many young people to become involved in social causes and use their voices to make a difference. Taylor understands the impact she can have, and she actively uses her voice to make a difference. She has inspired countless young people to become involved in philanthropy and to use their influence for good. Whether it's starting small, staying true to ourselves, working hard, or giving back. Taylor's example serves as a guiding light for aspiring musicians and entrepreneurs alike. Taylor's dedication to her craft is evident in her success, and she has proven that hard work and perseverance can lead to extraordinary achievements. This authenticity resonated with audiences and helped her build a strong connection with her fan base. Taylor hasn't compromised her artistic integrity to chase fame or fortune, and she continues to create music that reflects her true self. This inspires us to stay true to our values and to embrace what makes us unique. Her relentless work ethic, dedication to her craft, and ability to adapt to changing trends ensure that she remains a force to be reckoned with. In the entertainment industry, this teaches us that success doesn't happen overnight, and that starting small is just the first step towards achieving our dreams. As we continue to follow her journey, let us remember the valuable lessons she has shared with us, and let us apply them to our own lives. She has cultivated a strong and loyal fan base known as the Swifties, who eagerly anticipate her every move. Taylor's authenticity and down-to-earth personality have made her relatable and endearing to people of all ages. These early achievements established Taylor as a rising star in the country music scene. Taylor Swift has accomplished more before 33 than most people do in a lifetime. She's broken records, sold out stadiums, and made billions along the way. But behind the glitz and glam, there's a secret sauce to her success. And once you know what it is, everything else makes perfect sense. We see her as a flawless icon now, which makes it easy to forget she started out as a teenager in the unforgiving spotlight. As Taylor Swift continues to evolve as an artist and businesswoman, her net worth is likely to grow even more. As we conclude our exploration of Taylor Swift's incredible journey, let's reflect on the invaluable lessons she has taught us. Furthermore, Taylor has shown us the power of hard work and determination. One of the most important lessons Taylor has taught us is that it's okay to start small. Her story motivates us to put in the effort and to stay dedicated to our goals, knowing that success often comes to those who work tirelessly for it. Another lesson Taylor has exemplified is the importance of staying true to oneself. With dedication, authenticity, and a willingness to make a difference, we can create our own success stories. By embracing these lessons from Taylor Swift, we can strive to become better versions of ourselves. Finally, Taylor has taught us the importance of giving back. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.